Hey, English learners, welcome back to Slowburn English, the podcast where we go slow, go deep, and go somewhere real. I'm Liam.
And I'm Emma. And today we want to ask you something.
Have you ever stood next to someone in an elevator, a waiting room, a work kitchen, and had absolutely no idea what to say?
You wanted to say something. You knew you should say something, but the words just weren't there.
And then the silence got longer and somehow more awkward with every second.
We've all been there, in any language.
But in English, when it's not your first language, that silence can feel enormous.
Today, we're going to talk about small talk, why it's so much harder than it looks, and how to make it feel a little more natural.
This is why small talk is harder than it looks.
Let's begin.
But before we dive in, we want to stop for a moment.
Yes, because last episode, the I'm fine episode, something happened.
Something really lovely happened.
You showed up in the comments, in your messages, and you were so honest with us.
Someone named Min wrote, "I cried a little during this episode. I didn't know there were words for what I was feeling. Min, thank you for trusting us with that."
And then Priya wrote, I tried the micro challenge. I told my colleague I was a little overwhelmed instead of I'm fine. She hugged me.
Oh, that one got me.
Me too. We were not ready for that level of emotional impact from a podcast about vocabulary.
And yet, here we are.
Here we are. So, from both of us, thank you, genuinely, for listening, for sharing, for being brave enough to try.
We also want to say something to the people who are new here. Welcome to Slowburn English.
We're not a fast channel. We don't rush. We don't throw 10 grammar rules at you and wish you luck.
We sit with you. We go slow. We talk about real things, the kind of English you actually need for the moments that actually matter.
And if your English is still under construction, good. That means it's alive. That means it's growing.
Under construction is not broken. Under construction means something real is being built.
Something that sounds more like you every week.
Now, today's episode connects very naturally to last week's. Last time we talked about feelings, about going beyond I'm fine, about having the words for what's inside.
And today we go one step earlier. Before feelings, before depth, before connection, there is small talk.
The tiny, seemingly unimportant conversation that happens before everything else.
Except, and this is what today is about, it's not unimportant at all.
Not even a little.
Aw, I'm already emotional about small talk, Liam. People are going to think we have a problem.
Maybe we do. Maybe caring too much about conversation is exactly the kind of problem worth having.
Okay, we also want to answer a question someone left in the comments last week. Kenji from Japan asked, is it rude to not do small talk in English? In Japan, we don't really do it the same way.
Oh, Kenji, such a good question. And the honest answer is no, it's not rude. But it can feel a little cold to native English speakers, especially in British or American culture, where small talk is almost like a social handshake.
It signals, I see you. I acknowledge you. I'm friendly.
And when it's missing, people sometimes read it as, I don't want to connect.
Even if that's not what you mean at all.
So it's not about being fake. It's not about pretending to care about the weather. It's about something much more human than that.
And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. So, Kenji, and everyone who has ever stood in awkward silence, this one is for you.
Let's do this.
Okay, so small talk.
Small talk.
2 words that strike fear into the hearts of English learners everywhere.
And honestly, into the hearts of plenty of native speakers, too.
Can I tell you a story?
Please.
First year in London, my colleague Tom invites me to his birthday party. Very exciting, very international crowd. And I walk in, feeling confident. I've been practicing my English. I'm ready.
And then?
And then I'm standing next to a guy named Dave. And Dave looks at me, and I look at Dave, and there's this silence, this enormous, stretching, terrible silence.
How long?
At least 3 minutes, maybe 4. And finally, I say something. I say, "So, do you come here often?"
Ha ha ha, Emma, that's a pickup line.
I know. I didn't know that then. I thought it was just a normal question.
What did Dave say?
He looked at me very strangely and said, "It's Tom's flat, so no."
Poor Dave, poor Emma.
My brain just completely froze, like someone pressed mute on every social skill I had. I knew English, I just had no idea what to actually say.
That is the small talk problem in one perfect story.
It really is.
So let's talk about why small talk gets such a bad reputation.
Because it does. People say, "Oh, it's just small talk," like it doesn't matter, like it's beneath us.
Like the word small means unimportant.
But here's the thing, no meaningful conversation has ever started with something small first.
Think about it. The friendship that changed your life. How did it begin? Not with tell me your deepest fear. It began with something tiny, something ordinary.
Hey, do you know where the bathroom is?
Exactly. Or is this seat taken? Or that coffee smells amazing. Where did you get it?
Small, unremarkable, and yet it opened a door.
Because that's what small talk really is. It's not about the weather. It's not about your weekend. It's about something much more human than that.
It's a signal, a tiny, quiet signal that says, "I'm safe. You can talk to me. We can be in the same space and it can be okay."
Say that again.
Small talk is a signal that says, "I'm safe. You can talk to me."
And when you don't have the words for that signal in English in a new country, in an unfamiliar culture, you don't just feel awkward.
You feel invisible.
Which brings us to our question today, and we want you to sit with this one.
Is small talk really about the weather, or is it about something much more human than that?
We think you already know the answer, but let's explore it together.
Before we go deeper, a quick moment. If this episode is already feeling useful, please give it a like. It takes 2 seconds and it helps so many more learners find Slowburn English.
Subscribe if you haven't yet. New episodes every week, slow, warm, and always about something real.
And leave us a comment. Tell us, what's the most awkward small talk moment you've ever had? We want to know. We read everything.
Today's episode is B2 level, upper intermediate. The vocabulary is a little more nuanced, the ideas a little deeper, but as always, we explain every word inside the conversation, so stay with us.
By the end of today, you'll have 10 new B2 words about social interaction and conversation. Words that will help you not just understand small talk, but actually do it.
Ready? Let's go in.
So, why is small talk so hard, especially for English learners?
Because, and this is the thing people don't say enough, small talk is actually one of the most complex social skills that exists.
Which sounds strange because from the outside it looks so easy. Two people talking about nothing. How hard can that be?
Very, as it turns out.
There are 4 reasons, and we're going to go through all of them because understanding why something is hard, that's the first step to making it easier.
Reason 1, the processing gap.
When you speak in a second language, your brain is doing a lot at once. You're listening, you're translating, you're constructing a sentence, you're checking your grammar.
And by the time you've done all of that, the moment has passed.
The conversation has moved on. The other person has already said 3 more things, and your careful, perfect sentence, it never arrived.
In your first language, this all happens automatically, instantly. You don't think about it. But in English, especially early on, it takes real mental energy.
And small talk is fast, it's spontaneous. It doesn't wait for you to be ready.
Reason 2, the fear of silence.
This one is interesting. In some cultures, Japan, Finland, many parts of Asia, silence in a conversation with a near stranger feels completely normal, even comfortable.
But in British and American English culture, silence in a conversation with a near stranger feels wrong, like something has broken.
And English learners often feel this pressure very strongly. The silence comes, and instead of letting it breathe, they panic.
And when you panic, your English disappears even faster.
It's a terrible loop.
Reason 3. Cultural script mismatch.
This one is huge, and I experienced this firsthand when I joined a team with several Australian colleagues.
What happened?
Every Monday morning, they would do this thing, this very specific Australian small talk ritual. They talk about the weekend, about cricket, about someone's barbecue, about the arvo, which I learned eventually means the afternoon.
Apparently, afternoon is a very long word in Australia, apparently.
Apparently,
They would stand there, smiling, nodding, completely lost, not because my English was bad, but because I didn't have the cultural vocabulary. I didn't know the script they were following.
because small talk isn't just language, it's culture. It's shared references, shared rhythms, shared topics that are considered safe and friendly.
And when you're new to a culture, even with your English is excellent, you're learning a completely new script.
And that takes time, and that's okay.
Reason 4. The perfectionism trap.
Oh, this one.
English learners, especially the more advanced ones, often have very high standards for themselves.
They want to say something good, something clever, something that sounds natural.
So they wait, they think, they refine the sentence in their head, and by the time it's perfect,
The moment is gone.
small talk doesn't reward perfection, it rewards presence.
And honestly, for English learners, this is such an important thing to hear. Nobody remembers whether your small talk sentence was perfectly grammatical.
They remember whether you were warm, whether you were present, whether you made them feel seen.
And this is true for English learners in a very specific way. You're not just finding words, you're finding the right cultural signal, the right rhythm, the right warmth.
Which is a lot, and it's okay that it takes time.
Small talk is like learning to ride a bike. The first few times you wobble, you feel ridiculous, and then one day you just go.
And you don't even think about it anymore.
One small conversation at a time.
Okay, so we know why it's hard. Now let's talk about what small talk actually looks like up close.
Because here's something that changed everything for me when I learned it. Small talk has a structure. It's not random, it's not chaos. It follows a pattern.
And once you see the pattern, it becomes much less scary.
There are 3 parts. Think of it like a little conversation sandwich.
I love a food metaphor.
The opening, the bridge, and the exit. 3 parts. Every small talk follows this shape.
Part 1, the opening.
The opening is your first sentence, and here's the most important thing I want you to hear about it. It does not need to be clever.
It does not need to be interesting.
It does not need to be original.
It just needs to exist.
The opening is not about content, it's about signal. You're saying, I'm here, I'm friendly, I'm open.
So, nice weather today, a sentence that has been made fun of for decades, is actually doing its job perfectly.
Because it's not about the weather, it's about the signal.
Part 2, the bridge.
This is where things get interesting. The bridge is the follow-up. It's what keeps the conversation going after the opening.
And the most powerful bridge in the English language is a simple follow-up question.
For example, opening, have you been waiting long? Bridge, do you come here often? Oh, wait, we know how that one ends.
Poor Dave.
Let's use a different example. Opening, this coffee is really good today. Bridge, do you usually come here in the mornings?
Simple, natural, and crucially, it invites the other person to share something about themselves.
And people love talking about themselves, even a little bit, especially when someone asks with genuine warmth.
Now, here is the thing about the bridge that English learners often miss. After you answer a question, you ask it back.
This is called a reciprocal question, and it is the single most powerful small talk tool there is.
For example, how was your weekend? You answer, it was pretty quiet actually. I stayed home mostly. And then, what about you? Did you get up to anything?
That what about you? 4 words that transform a monologue into a dialogue.
And yet, so many learners forget it. They answer the question, they stop, they wait, and the conversation dies.
Because conversation is like a ball. Someone throws it to you, you catch it, and then you throw it back.
If you only catch, the game ends.
And for English learners especially, this one small habit of asking the question back, it changes everything. It takes the pressure off you, it gives the other person something to do, and it makes you seem genuinely interested.
Which, ideally, you are.
Ideally, yes.
Part 3, the exit.
Ah, the exit. This one is underrated because a bad exit can undo a perfectly good small talk.
You know the feeling when you want to end a conversation, but you don't know how, so you just kind of trail off?
Or say, well, anyway, 11 times.
Yes, well, anyway.
The graceful exit is a skill, and in English, there are very natural phrases for it.
Things like, it was lovely chatting with you, or I'd better let you get back to it, or simply, good talking to you.
These phrases do something beautiful. They acknowledge the conversation, they honor it, and they close it gently without anyone feeling dismissed.
So, opening, bridge, exit. 3 parts, one small conversation.
And once you know the structure, you realize that small talk isn't random noise, it's a little dance with steps.
And the steps can be learned.
Slowly, gently. The slow burn way.
Okay, conceptual distinction time.
Oh, I love this part.
Because there are 4 terms that English learners often use interchangeably, but they actually mean different things. And knowing the difference makes you sound much more natural.
Ready?
Ready.
Term 1. Small talk.
Small talk is light social conversation with no real agenda, usually between people who don't know each other well or even at all. The content doesn't matter much. The signal matters.
Lovely day, isn't it? Yes, finally some sunshine. That's it. That's the whole conversation, and it's complete.
Small talk says, we are both humans in the same space and I acknowledge you.
Term 2. Chit-chat.
Chit-chat is a little warmer, a little more personal. It usually happens between people who know each other slightly, a neighbor, a regular at your coffee shop, a colleague you see every day but don't know deeply.
How was your weekend? Oh, pretty quiet. Stayed in mostly. Yeah, same. Did you catch that show everyone's talking about?
It's friendly, it's easy. It doesn't go deep, but it builds familiarity over time.
Chit-chat says, I know you a little, and I like knowing you a little.
Term 3, catching up.
Catching up is for people who already have a relationship, friends, family, old colleagues, but haven't spoken in a while.
So, what have you been up to? How are things with the new job? I heard you moved. How's the new place?
There's more depth here, more genuine interest. You're not just acknowledging each other, you're updating each other.
Catching up says, your life matters to me. Tell me what I've missed.
In term 4, our bonus, icebreaker.
An icebreaker is a question or activity specifically designed to start a conversation in a new setting. A work event, a class, a group you've just joined.
So, how did everyone end up here? Or, what's one thing people wouldn't guess about you just from looking?
That last one is honestly my favorite because it's honest, and honesty, even in small talk, is always disarming.
Knowing which one to use, that's not just language, that's social intelligence.
And social intelligence can be learned, one conversation at a time. Okay, theory is wonderful, but let's get practical because knowing something and doing something, very different things.
So we're going to walk through 5 real situations, and for each, we'll give you a natural opening, a bridge question, and a graceful exit.
Situation 1, the elevator with a colleague.
Opening, busy morning, or almost Friday, right?
Opening, do you have much on today?
Exit, well, enjoy the rest of your morning. See you around.
Short, warm, done. Nobody had to say anything brilliant.
Situation 2, waiting in a queue at the post office, a cafe, anywhere.
Opening, this line is moving well actually. Or, I always end up here at the busiest time.
Exit, looks like you're up next. Good timing. Have a great day.
Situation 3, the work kitchen.
This one is gold because the work kitchen is small talk paradise. Everyone's there, everyone's slightly vulnerable because they're making coffee, and everyone wants a reason to not check their emails for 2 more minutes.
That is exactly right.
Opening, is that the good coffee or the terrible coffee?
Bridge, how's your week going so far?
Exit, I'd better get back, but good to catch you. Hope the rest of the week is kind.
Situation 4. The beginning of a meeting while waiting for others to join.
Opening, I always forget how long it takes everyone to get settled.
Bridge, did you get a chance to look at the agenda? Or more casually, have you had a good morning?
Exit, looks like we're about to start. Let's catch up properly after.
Situation 5. A social event, a party, someone standing alone.
This one matters because that person standing alone, they want to be talked to. They're just waiting for someone brave enough to begin.
Opening, I don't think we've met. I'm Liam.
Simple, direct, warm, and it gives the other person the most natural possible response, their name.
Bridge, how do you know the host? Classic, universal, works everywhere.
Exit, I'm going to go find a drink, but it was so nice to meet you. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
And for English learners, here's the most important thing we want you to take from all of these examples.
You don't need a clever opening. You need a warm one.
Warmth travels across languages. Warmth travels across cultures. Warmth doesn't need perfect grammar.
And small talk, when you strip away the awkwardness and the pressure, is just warmth looking for somewhere to land.
There's a phrase we love, noise before depth. Small talk is the noise that has to come before anything deeper can begin.
It's not meaningless, it's necessary.
It clears the space. It checks the temperature. It says we're safe here. We can go further if we want.
And sometimes, just sometimes, the small talk is the depth.
And now the word tour.
My favorite part.
Today's word tour is all about social interaction, the language of conversation, how we start it, keep it going, and end it gracefully.
10 words, all B2 level. Meaning, 2 example sentences, and then repeat after us.
Let's begin.
Word number 1, reciprocal.
Reciprocal. Something reciprocal goes both ways. It's mutual. If I do something for you and you do something for me, that's reciprocal.
For example, good conversation is reciprocal. Both people listen and both people share.
Or she appreciated his reciprocal interest. He always asked her questions back.
In small talk, the reciprocal question is your best friend. Answer, then ask back.
Repeat. Reciprocal.
Reciprocal.
Word number 2. Initiate.
Initiate. To initiate something means to start it, to begin it, especially when it takes a little courage to do so.
For example, he was nervous, but he decided to initiate the conversation.
Or, it's not always easy to initiate small talk with a stranger.
Notice initiate suggests intention. You're not waiting, you're beginning.
Repeat, initiate.
Initiate. Word number 3. Deflect.
Deflect. To deflect means to turn something away, to redirect it. In conversation, you deflect when you change the subject or avoid answering directly.
For example, when asked about his plans, he deflected by changing the subject.
Or, she deflected the personal question with a light joke.
Deflecting isn't always negative. Sometimes it's polite, sometimes it's self-protective, but it closes doors.
Repeat, deflect.
Deflect. Word number 4. Rapport.
Rapport. Rapport is that feeling of connection and ease between two people. When the conversation flows naturally, when you feel comfortable, that's rapport.
For example, they built a good rapport immediately. The conversation felt effortless.
Or, small talk is one of the fastest ways to build rapport with someone new.
Rapport is the goal of small talk, not information, not entertainment, connection.
Repeat, rapport.
Rapport. Word number 5. Casual.
Casual. Something casual is relaxed, informal, not serious. Small talk is casual conversation. A casual outfit is relaxed and comfortable.
For example, they had a casual conversation over coffee before the meeting started.
Or, she kept her tone casual so he wouldn't feel pressured.
Casual doesn't mean unimportant, it means the pressure is low. And low pressure is exactly what good small talk needs.
Repeat, casual.
Casual. Word number 6. Awkward.
Awkward. Something awkward is uncomfortable, embarrassing, or socially difficult. An awkward silence, an awkward moment, an awkward conversation.
For example, there was an awkward pause after he said the wrong name.
Or, she laughed to fill the awkward silence.
Awkward is the word for that specific social discomfort that every English learner knows very well.
But here's the thing. Awkward moments are survivable. Everyone has them, even native speakers.
Repeat. Awkward.
Awkward.
Word number 7. Lull.
Lull. A lull is a quiet pause, a moment when a conversation temporarily stops. It's different from an awkward silence. A lull is natural. It's a breath.
For example, there was a lull in the conversation, but it didn't feel uncomfortable.
Or he used the lull to ask a new question and keep things going.
Knowing the word lull helps you stop panicking when silence comes. It's not a failure, it's a lull. It passes.
Repeat. Lull.
Lull.
Word number 8, engage.
Engage. To engage with someone means to actively participate, to connect, to give your attention. When you engage in a conversation, you're fully present.
For example, she engaged warmly with everyone at the event.
Or, the best small talkers engage with genuine curiosity, not just politeness.
Engage is active. It's not passive listening. It's leaning in.
Repeat. Engage.
Engage.
Word number 9. Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Something spontaneous happens naturally, without planning or preparation. It comes in the moment.
For example, the best conversations are often completely spontaneous.
Or, he gave a spontaneous compliment that made her whole morning.
Small talk requires spontaneity. You can't fully prepare it. You have to let it happen. And that, for English learners, is exactly where the courage comes in.
Repeat. Spontaneous.
Spontaneous.
And our final word, word number 10, approachable.
Approachable. If someone is approachable, they seem friendly and easy to talk to. They give off a warmth that makes others feel safe to begin a conversation.
For example, she was so approachable that strangers often started conversations with her.
Or, a simple smile makes you instantly more approachable.
And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need perfect English to be approachable. You need openness, you need warmth, you need presence.
Which you already have.
Repeat. Approachable.
Approachable.
10 words. Let's say them all one more time.
Reciprocal, initiate, deflect, rapport, casual, awkward, lull, engage, spontaneous, approachable.
Write them down. Use them this week. Your English brain just went to the gym again.
Before we close, one last thought.
Small talk is not small.
It never was. It's the beginning of everything. It's the first brick in every friendship, every working relationship, every connection that ever mattered.
And yes, it's harder in a second language. Of course it is. You're doing something incredibly complex and making it look casual. That's extraordinary.
So be patient with yourself. Give yourself the grace you would give a friend who was learning something new.
And this week, our challenge for you is simple. Start one small talk conversation. Just one.
In the elevator, in the queue, in the kitchen, at work, with anyone. 2 sentences. That's all.
Open, bridge, exit. 3 steps.
And then tell us how it went. Leave a comment below. Tell us your most awkward small talk moment, or your most surprisingly lovely one.
We read every single one, and we treasure every single one.
So if this episode stayed with you today, we hope it also encouraged you.
In your English.
In your confidence.
And maybe even in the next quiet moment when you're standing next to a stranger and you find to your own surprise something warm to say.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart.
This is Emma.
And this is Liam.
And you've been listening to Slowburn English. Bye.
Bye.